Um, okay. Hello everyone. My name is Fahmi, and today I'm going to talk about noun and pronoun, especially how noun and pronoun are tested in TOEFL section 2, which is about structure and written expression. So today, actually, the focus of the topic is how noun and pronoun are tested in part 2 of section 2, which is error recognition. The students are tested to identify whether the form of the noun is correct or not, and whether the form of the pronoun is correct or not. Um, to start with, let's talk about noun and pronoun itself. What is noun and what is pronoun? So, if you look at the definition in Cambridge Dictionary, noun is a word that refers to a person, place, thing, event, substance, or quality, while pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun or pronoun or a noun phrase. And I believe most of my students have been familiar with noun and pronoun. So, for example, book, teacher, pencil, pen, house, university, all of them belong to noun, while pronoun is the word that we use to replace, to refer to the noun. So, what is the pronoun of book, for example? So, the pronoun of book is it. Um, if there's only one book, how about if there are two books? What is the pronoun of two books? So, the pronoun of two books is they. Okay. Um, whether we use they or them depending on the position. Okay, we'll talk more later on in our discussion today, uh, because we need to be able to know when we say I, when we say me, when we say they, when we say them. Okay, so depending on the position. Right. There are some skills that we will be discussing today. So the first one is skill 19, which is about singular and plural noun. So if you look at here, uh, look at the left side here in this table. You need to be able to identify the keywords. Okay, so because they will actually decide the form of the noun. If you look at each, every, single, one, so all of these words must be followed by singular nouns. For example, we say each teacher, every book, single student, one child, a mother, for example. Okay, so just remember the keywords because we need to use singular noun after these keywords. And the next one, if you look at in your textbook later on, you see both, two, many, several, various. All of them must be followed by plural nouns. Okay, so we say both teachers, two students, many houses, several universities, various sources. Okay, so remember uh, the form of the noun here, whether the noun should be in singular form or plural form, greatly depend on the keywords. Okay, let's look at more examples here. For example, we say I have one book. You see one book. I have two books. Two books. They read every article. Every article. They read various articles. Okay, various articles. Right. Um, remember, the noun. If the noun is in plural form, so we need to add s after the noun. For example, one book singular, two books. Books. Okay, so books would be with s because plural. Two books. Okay, let's look at how um, the noun is tested in the real test. Okay, let's look at the first one. The leaves of the common sunflower are rough to the touch on both sides. So what is the answer for this number? Is it A, B, C, or D? Remember, you need to find the mistake. Okay. Is there any problem with A, common? No, there's no problem because common is adjective to modify, to describe sunflower, the noun. Okay. How about B? Is there any problem with B? There's no problem with B. We need to use the plural form of to be are. Why? Because the subject is plural, leaves. Okay, leaves is the subject, leaves are. How about C? Is there any problem with C? Rough. No, no problem, because rough is adjective. Okay, we say to be plus adjective. In an example, maybe I will say I am hungry. Okay, am hungry. Hungry is adjective. So there's no problem with C. The problem here is with D. Okay, so you need to choose D in this sentence. Why? What is the problem with D? What is the problem with the form of sign? The problem is you look at the word before sign. Okay, the word is both. Remember, both should be followed by plural form of the word. Okay, plural form of the noun in this case. So you need to add s after the sign. Sides, both sides. Okay, so choose D because this is the incorrect form. How about the next sentence? Those with narcolepsy experience the uncontrollable desire to sleep, perhaps several times in one day. Okay, so what is the problem? What is the answer for this sentence? The problem here is with C. Why? Again, look at the words before time. Several, okay? Remember, several should be followed by plural noun, okay? So we need to say times, time plus s here. So the problem here is with time, so choose C. We need to say several times. Okay. Right, now let's move on to the next skill, which is about countable and uncountable nouns. This is quite easy. How can you differentiate how can you decide whether the noun is countable or uncountable? You look at the words. If you can use number 1, 2, 3 and so forth with the noun, it means that the noun is countable. Let's look at the example here. Book and house. Can you say one book? Can you say one house? Can you say two books, two houses? Yes, you can. It means that book and house belong to countable nouns. Okay, let me give you an example. How about university? Can you say one university, two universities, three universities? Yes, you can say that. It means that university is countable noun. Okay, how about uncountable noun? That's actually the opposite of countable noun. Okay, so you can use number 1, 2, 3 and so on with the noun. It means that that's countable noun. But if you can't use number before the noun, it means that the noun is uncountable. For example here, milk, hope and happiness. Can you say one milk, two milk, one hope, one happiness? No, it means that milk, hope, happiness belong to uncountable noun because you can't count them. You can't count them with number 1, 2, 3 and so forth. Alright, now there are some things that you need to remember in TOEFL. The first one is if the countable noun is more than one, maybe 2, 3 and so on, you need to add s after the words. Okay, so for example, one book, if there are two, you will say two books, three books. Okay, don't forget the s. And the next one, for uncountable noun, even though we have more than, maybe much, okay, so because there's much money, for example, you have much money, let's say you have 1 billion money, okay, that's much, right? Even though there's much money that you have, we never put s after the noun, okay? We never say I have much monies, okay? No, we don't say that one. It means that later on, in the real test, okay, every time you see noun with s, it must be countable noun, okay? So I'm going to show you in the real test, okay, how the noun with s. Sometimes we know water. What do you think about water? Is it countable or uncountable? Water can be countable or uncountable depending on the context, okay? I'm going to show you later on in the real test, alright? Okay, now again we need to, if you look at the left side here, the keywords, okay? So if you see many, number, few, and fewer, so they must be followed by countable noun. While much, amount, little, and less must be followed by uncountable noun. Okay, so book, for example. So book is countable. We need to say many books. Okay, a number of books, few books, fewer books, and much, money, for example, money. Okay, something that you used to buy something. Okay, so we need to say, for example, much money. We cannot say a number of money because money is countable. I'm sorry, money is uncountable. So we need to use here the words here. You can say much money, amounts of money, little money, or less money. Right. Now let's look at these three sentences. Number one, they have much trips recently. In part 2, error recognition, section 2 of the TOEFL test, so the underlined words need to adjust with the words that is not underlined. For example, here trips is not underlined. It means that there is no problem with trips. Trip plus s. Remember, the word with s must be countable. Okay, so there's no problem with trips. Why? Because it is not underlined. It means that the problem here is with much because much is underlined. Trips is countable. It means that we cannot use much. So what is the answer? We need to say many trips. Okay. How about number 2? There was not many water in the pool. What is the problem? Is the problem with many or with water? The problem is with many because many is underlined. Water is no problem because water is not underlined. It means that there is no problem with water. Okay, so it means that we cannot use water here is uncountable because there is no s. Okay, it means that water is uncountable. We don't say many water. We don't use many for uncountable noun, but we use much. So much water. Number 3 is different case. Much is underlined. It means that this is the problem. Water plus s, not underlined. It means that there is no problem with waters. Okay, so remember, noun with s must be countable. We don't use much for countable noun, right? But we use many, number, few, fewer. So the problem here is with much. We need to say many waters, number waters, few waters, or much water. Fewer waters. Okay, so you got it, right? Let's look at in the real text example. Okay, let's look at the first sentence. Conch shells live in much different seas and feed mainly on small fish and worms. What is the problem? Is it A, B, C, or D? Right, the problem here is with B. Why? Remember, much must be followed by uncountable nouns. Okay, look at the noun after much. What is the noun? The noun here is seas. Okay, so C plus S. Remember, the word with s must be countable noun. Okay, so seas is countable. Of course, we don't use much for countable, but we use many. That's why the answer here is B. B is the problem. Okay, how about number 2? Because Washington is a district and not a state, its residents have less rights than other citizens. What is the problem? Is it A, B, C, or D? The problem here is with C. Why? Again, less is followed by uncountable nouns. Look at the words after less. Is it countable or uncountable? The word is right. This is the noun, okay? Remember, right with s. Noun with s must be countable, okay? We don't use less for countable nouns, but we use few or fewer, okay? So the problem here is with C. Okay, is everything clear so far? Right. Okay, if you have any question, you can just leave on the comment column, so that I can answer your question later on. Right. Now let's move on to the next skill, which is about subject and object pronoun. I told you at the beginning of my presentation that pronoun, the form of the pronoun will depend on the position, whether they are acting as subject or they are acting as object. So you look at on the left side. If look at the form are, you, they, we, he, she, it. We use them if they are the position in the sentence is as the subject. If they are as the object of the sentence, we need to use I becomes me, you becomes you, they, them, we, us, he, him, she, her, it, it. Okay. Again, depending on the position. How can you identify if they are subject or object? Of course, you need to be able to identify the verb. Okay. Just remember, if the pronoun is before the verb, it means that they are subject. If the pronoun is after the verb, it means that they are object. Look at these two sentences. Okay, number one, my friend and I are going to the party. This sentence is correct. You see here pronoun I. This is subject. Why? Because it is placed before the verb. Okay, are going. Are going is the verb. Okay, and I here is subject because it is before the verb are going. Number two, our neighbors are going with you and I. This is incorrect. Why? You look at here. There are two pronouns, you and I. Okay. Are they subject or object in the sentence? They are object. How can you know if they are object? Because the position of you and I here are after the verb of are going. Okay. So are going here is the verb, and then you and I are after are going. It means that they are object. Remember the form of you. Okay, you is okay because you as the subject and the object, the form is the same. But I here is the problem. Why? Because if object, the form should be me, not I. Okay, right. You got it? Okay, good. Let's look at in the real test, in the real sentence. Animals like frogs have waterproof skin that prevent them from drying out quickly in air, sun, or wind. So what is the problem here? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, so the problem here is C. Why? Okay, remember this is about pronoun, and in a long sentence you need to see the position. Remember, if the pronoun comes before the verb, it means that this is subject. If the pronoun comes after the verb, it means that it is object. Okay, you need to know the position because the form will be different between subject and object. If you look at the word before they, the word is prevent. You know prevent? Prevent is verb. Okay, so prevent is verb plus they. They comes after the verb prevent. It means that the form of the pronoun here should be object. We should say prevent them. Okay, them, not they. Right. Okay, so let me just continue to the next skill, which is about possessive. This is also an easy skill to master about possessive. Okay, so just look at these two columns. On the left side, possessive adjective. My, your, their, our, his, her, and its. And we also have possessive pronoun. My becomes mine, your becomes yours, their become theirs, our become ours, his become his. There's no difference between the form. Her become hers, its. There's no possessive pronoun of its. Okay. So what you need to remember is, if you look at in the real test later on, the words, okay, possessive adjective, remember possessive adjectives must be followed by the noun. For example, we need to say my book, your book, their book, our book, his book, her book, its book. Okay, remember they must be followed by the noun. While possessive pronoun cannot be followed by the noun, sorry. So we cannot say mine book, we cannot say yours book, theirs book, ours book, his book. Okay, if it is pronoun, possessive pronoun, and we cannot say her's book. Okay, let's look at in the sentence. Number one. Number one is correct. This is my book. Remember, my is possessive adjective followed by the noun book. My book. Okay, no problem. Number two is incorrect. Why? This is my. My is possessive adjective. Okay, so there's no noun after that. That's why there's a problem. Number three is incorrect. Why? Because this is mine book. Mine is possessive pronoun. We cannot use noun after mine. Okay, so we cannot say mine book. Number four is correct. This book is mine. So mine is possessive pronoun. There's no noun after mine. Okay, that's why number four is correct. Let's look at the sentence. Okay, you need to be able to identify the problem between option A, B, C, and D. Some scallops can open and close their valves and swim away rapidly when they are disturbed. What's the answer? Is it A, B, C, or D? The answer is B. Why? If you look at option B here, theirs with S, so this is possessive pronoun. Remember, possessive pronoun cannot be followed by the noun, while in this sentence, theirs is followed by the noun verbs. Okay, so this is the noun. There's noun, it means that we cannot say there's verbs. We need to omit S. We need to say their verbs. Okay, that's why the problem here is B. Okay, just to explain to you, option A, some, no problem, because some is followed by plural nouns, scallops. Okay, and option C, there's no problem because we need to use subject. They, not them. Why? Because the position of the pronoun here is before the verb are. Okay, and option D is no problem because this is past participle. Remember, in our discussion before, in the previous meetings, to be should be followed by past participle. Okay, there's no problem with option D. Right. Now let's talk about the last skill, which is about pronoun reference. Okay. So pronoun reference. This is about the noun and the reference. Okay. So if you look at on my slide here, be sure that every pronoun and possessive agrees with the noun it refers to. For example, Mr. Pahmi, for example. Okay, Mr. Pahmi. What is the pronoun of Mr. Pahmi? Because Mr. Pahmi is a male. Okay, a male teacher. So we need to use he or him, depending on the position. Okay, of course we cannot. For example, Mr. Pahmi is a teacher. Full stop. We need to say he is from Pekanbaru. We cannot say they are from Pekanbaru because they doesn't agree with the form of the noun. Okay, because the noun is one person, male. So we need to use he. Okay, let's look at some examples here. Number one, this is my book. Full stop. I bought it yesterday. Number one is correct. Why? Because the noun is book and the pronoun is it. Alright, there's no problem. Book it. Number two is incorrect. The cookies are for you. So please take it. The noun here is cookies. Okay, cookies plural, while the pronoun reference is it. So cookies plural, it doesn't agree. Okay, so we need to change it into them. Please take them. Number three is incorrect. Each person has to sign their application form. So person is one. Okay, so one person. So the pronoun here is incorrect there because there is for plural noun. So we need to change there into his or her. Okay. Now let's look at in the real test, in the real sentence. Francis Scott Key wrote the words to the Star Spangled Banner as they stood alone watching the British bombardment of Fort McHenry. So what is the problem? Is it A, B, C, or D? The problem here is C. Why? You need to find the noun, okay, which refers to they. What is the noun? The noun is Francis Scott Key. That's one person, okay? So of course we don't say they for Francis Scott Key, but we need to change they into he, okay, because one person. Right, that's all for my presentation, and thank you very much for your kind participation, for your attention. I hope everything is clear, and then so that's all. Thank you very much.